Yo, rocking and rolling this Friday. Might be a little bit of a shorter episode again. I have some extra responsibilities again. I'm going to be rocking in the booth again for my guy JB, book ending the week with another spot here in the TV booth for him. So excited to be filling in. Hopefully, going to be expanding on how it went on Monday, getting a little bit better. Ship stayed on the course. Train didn't fall off the tracks completely. So we're going to keep rocking and rolling. But speaking of ships. I want to talk a little bit about this specific ship, the SS Carl D. Bradley. It was a freighter and it operated in the Great Lakes a lot. It was a ship from launched in 1927 and it was in service for 31 years. And I know this is probably like the third time this week that we've brought up like large bodies of water. I think previously we've talked about the ocean, with Sam and then myself, and now it's I think the third day in a row even that we're here talking about, like I said, large bodies of water. Thalassophobia is the fear of large bodies of water, and I think it's something I learned about from another YouTube channel called Scary Interesting. Very, very cool channel. Got a lot of really cool videos. And I mean, like the channel suggests, it is a little frightening, a little scary, but it's also interesting, and not like in a like ghostly, like ghouls, like horror way. Like they are real stories of instances where like things went either fatally wrong or like near catastrophic, and then sometimes like actually catastrophic. It's it's crazy. It's life. It happens, and like something I kind of want to have. Like I've been thinking about, I kind of want to like get tattooed on my arm, just to like always remind myself, just like, and the world keeps spinning. Like no matter what, like the world just keeps spinning. I think like I was working at the zoo one day, and this big event was going on, like all these vendors, all of these tents and stuff set up, and then like the whole morning, the whole day, everything was going crazy, and then like everything ends within an hour and a half, like the whole area is clear, and I just was like thinking about, there's something a little eerie about that. Like even if there's like, think about like you're on the highway, you're driving home, you know what I mean, and then there's like all of a sudden you're stuck in traffic because there's a car crash. It gets, everybody has to merge over into one lane, or they just completely stop traffic. They start like turning people around and shit like that. Like it's good. They're gonna take a long time to clear this up, but like eventually like everything is going to be like cleared up, and people will continue driving like just along that highway like as if nothing happened. And really, like, nothing will have happened, because like that was that instance when that accident occurred, but every other moment after, like, nothing has happened. It's just the world keeps spinning, man. And it's just, I don't know, like something I thought about, like, it's about a few months ago. Like I said, I was working at the zoo, and I just was like, I thought something about it I thought was kind of eerie. Like, just, like, no matter what it is, like, everything's like there's an ending to everything, and like not even like the ending, like it's just like, I don't know, like even like something can exist and then like that ends, but then even like then it'll exist in memory, but even the memory of that ends, and it's just, I don't know, the finality of it just kind of like hit me kind of hard. I don't know, it's kind of crazy. But we don't have to we don't have to get so dark and grim here on the 18th episode, I believe is what it is. Finally legal, the Chase Lounge, episode 18. So that's all fucked up, but oh well. I heard, I was thinking about something yesterday. Called up my mom and dad just to share it with them too, just because I thought they'd get a little chuckle out of it. I was at my cousin's baptism I talked about earlier this week, and I showed up to the end of the mass, like just as they were like going through like the Eucharist, the body of Christ. And if you're not familiar with that, like in Catholic Mass, you have the two options to receive the body of Christ. You can like stick out your hands, and they'll place it in your hand, and then you just like feed yourself the little piece of Jesus. And then you can also like just walk up there, you know, hands together praying, and then you just like stick out your tongue, you open up that mouth, and you're just like, yeah, finger fuck me with the body of Christ, baby. And I think any kid at first communion who just decides to like stick out their tongue and let the priest like, you know, go to town is just ripe for the pickings. Like that's what first communion has to be. Like they're just finding their marks. You know when you see like wolves like attacking the herd and they just try to separate one of the calves like that. That's what's going on. Like we don't need to dive into the history of the Catholic Church or anything like that. We got, you know, 2025 years of like, you know, the scrolls or whatever the fuck they got to do, like, you know, hidden away in Vatican City. But nonetheless, like that's, you know, anybody who's just like choosing to go for Jesus is, I'm not saying they're asking for it, but hey, but you're not making life any easier for yourself. I'll tell you that much. So I was always a, you know, place it in my hands, I can feed myself kind of guy. So, but we'll get back to the Carl D. Bradley, 'cause that's what I was hoping to talk about today. It was a freighter, like I said. It was from the American Shipbuilding Company, and it would operate, you know, from like Duluth, Minnesota, along the Great Lakes to like, you know, to Cleveland, down to like Gary, Indiana, and like Chicago, like up, you know, like it was a freighter. It'd take stuff all over. And like I said, it was in operation for 31 years. As these ships kind of age, and again, like the technology and stuff advances more and more, because this is from 1927. So you can imagine, like, as technology and science and, you know, engineering advance, like they're able to like, you know, build stronger ships, maybe like forge stronger metals and stuff like that. And you know, like the ship was getting a little old, a little rough for wear, and November is a really rough time out on the seas. Like it can get really choppy out there, like on the Great Lakes. They have notorious for some rough storms, and you know, the Great Lakes got a lot of ghost ships in there. You know, a lot of wrecks. They've taken a lot of big ships, and on November 18th, 1958, the Carl S. Bradley ended up being another victim of a big storm in the Great Lakes. The craziest part about this, and this is like I want to talk about more or less, there was like 35 crew members. 2 survived, only 2 of the entire crew, and they recounted like what happened. They saw the ship snap in 2. It like in the middle of the ship, it broke into 2 pieces, like, and like, you know, and eventually, like, you know, they were looking for like the remains of the ship, like the you know, looking like doing like radar more or less, trying to find it. And the radar technology back then, like, not as sound and advanced as it is today. You can't really like get as clear of an image. When the ship sank, like when it fell, the pieces like landed like pretty close to each other, and from the Doppler image, they couldn't really see like 2 separate pieces for years. 30 plus, maybe 50 plus years, these gentlemen who survived and were actually the only 2 people actually on the ship who could tell you what happened for years were mocked, ridiculed, and told they were crazy, like they're liars, like they're like that what they said happened did not happen, because of this image on the ship, this fuzzy image that they saw, which looked like one solid mass. As technology advanced further and further, eventually when these guys are like 70, 80 years old, they're finally able to get a better image of it, and you can see 2 distinct pieces of the Carl D. Bradley. And these 2 gentlemen are finally apologized to and acknowledged that, like, hey, we shouldn't have been telling the only people who were there to talk about something what happened at that something. And I thought it was crazy. Like I said, the Great Lakes, full of a lot of wrecks and stuff like that. I mean, the Edmund Fitzgerald is a well-known like sinking ship or sunken ship from Lake Superior, and that's another one that like snapped in half as well and stuff. So it's crazy, man. Like the Great Lakes, there was no survivors of the Edmund Fitzgerald. I don't know why I've struggled saying that, but like I said, no survivors there. Only two in the Carl Bradley. There's been a ton of other wrecks too, and where I like check this out, there's a really cool YouTube channel. So if you guys are, you find yourself wanting to, check some more out or figure out like, oh, hey, where's Chase? Like, find like some of his stuff, like, some more of my interests, you know what I mean? This channel, it's called Scary Interesting, and like perfect name for it. And it's not really scary in the sense of like horror and like ghosts and ghouls and stuff like that. It's like not supernatural at all. It's like real life stories of actual events, like near disasters, catastrophes, like fatally like catastrophic events. And it like they're crazy. It's like it's done in, I think, like a pretty respectful way, like where he's simply just sharing the story, and it is interesting. Like it's so crazy to like some of these different videos, like from like people who like to go caving, spelunking, people who like to go like diving, just in the open water, people who like to go cave diving, insane, like and then also too, like commercial divers, like did not realize, you kind of like, learning that how like risky commercial diving can be, and all of the different accidents, and like how truly horrifying that has to be, like though when those like when those events, like when shit goes wrong, like it's fucked. So it, again, like I said, if that's something you like, if you don't like it's not really like too graphic or anything like that, or like they don't, some of them are like cool, like I say they're cool, but like other stories too of like insane feats of human survival. Like some of these are like one of my favorites is this video about a shipwreck, like tying into the Bradley. Yeah, I can't remember the ship's name, but essentially these British privateers, these traders or shippers, were carrying a load. Slaving was like illegal. However, like where they were going, like this captain was like, oh, I could easily like make like this private trip, like the second trip, like secretly, and like very quickly and very short, back and forth, and make a ton of money like with this like slave run. And so they like attempt to do that. On the way to like dropping off the slaves, their ship like crashes, and they end up like having to like swim ashore, because like it's in like these shallow reefs, and so they have to like swim to the shore. It's a very, very small island, like it's just sand. It's not even an island, it is like just sand, and it's barely enough like of an atoll basically for like them to like survive on and stuff like that. Basically all of like the people from the ship like will go out, swim out, collect oh, hey, what's up, man? Got the HVAC boys in here changing the filter. But yeah, anyways, so they all of like the shipmates and the people who are part of the vessel, they like swim out into like the coral, they collect debris and pieces of wood from the wreckage, and they're able to like build a raft, and they only load up like their people. They let everybody else who like they were trying to like basically sell on the island, and they're like, we'll come back and get you. And they go they like sail back to wherever they came from, and it's like this whole extra long like story, not really extra long, but it's just like the back and forth of like some people saying we need to go back and get these people, others who are like no, forget it. And then like there's the whole like legal aspect of it. People eventually get arrested for like the illegal trade, and finally, after I want to say it's like over 10 years, I want to say maybe like 14 years, it might only have been 8, but like after several years, these people are finally rescued and saved from this like little like mound of sand in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And I want to say like originally from the whole ship, there was about 400, a little bit over 400 who crashed originally, and then about 200 who left in the wrecked in the wreckage, the raft built from the wreckage. And then when they finally rescued these people, there was like, and I might be mixing up these numbers, it's like 14 of them or 8 of them, but there was like not a lot of them left, but some of them were like infants, like people, I think they're maybe been there for 12 years, and they were infants, like people had like literally built like huts, and they like found ways to like survive, and actually like people were born there, and it's insane. It's truly one of the most fascinating feats of human survival in like ever. And I'm gonna, we'll circle back to this because I want to talk a little bit more about it, but I'm gonna wrap this up because we've got the HVAC guys here, and been a bit of a busy morning, so we'll see you alligators later.